Time for an American Family News Update. I'm Bronson Woodruff. The U.S. and Ukraine are reportedly expected to sign a long-term security agreement at the G7 summit in Italy. The agreement would see the U.S. continue to provide training for Ukraine's military, as well as increased cooperation on the production of weapons and military equipment and intelligence sharing. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan discussed the agreement with reporters on Air Force One.
This agreement covers the kind of support that Ukraine has sought as it bravely defends its freedom. They have asked for our weapons and assistance as they fight to defend their territory. They have not asked our forces to join the fight.
White House National Security Communications Advisor John Kirby says the U.S. will continue to be committed to Ukraine in what he calls their fight for freedom. 8 people from Tajikistan with suspected ties to the Islamic State terror group have been arrested in the United States in recent days. The arrests took place in New York, Philadelphia, and Los Angeles, and the individuals who entered the U.S. through the southern border are being held on immigration violations. This is according to one individual who spoke to the AP on the condition of anonymity. The nature of their suspected connections to the Islamic State were not immediately clear, but the individuals were being tracked by the FBI's Joint Terrorism Task Force, or JTTF. They were in custody of the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, also known as ICE. ICE made those arrests while working with the JTTF pending proceedings to remove them from the country. One person familiar with the matter said the individuals from Tajikistan entered the country last spring. We're told they passed through the U.S. government's screening process without turning up information that would have identified them as potential terrorism-related concerns. Transgender policies remain a dividing issue in many parts of the U.S. William Lajeunesse reports from Los Angeles.
California Democrats are fast-tracking a bill prohibiting teachers from disclosing a child's gender identity to their parents. The bill is symbolic of fights around the country over transgender rights. Tennessee is among 18 red states challenging federal rules forcing employers to honor a trans worker's use of their preferred pronoun, restroom of choice, and clothing that aligns with their gender identity. Rules that company employees and customers must follow, otherwise trans workers can sue for harassment. 22 Republican-led states are also refusing to comply with President Biden's proposed rule banning states from prohibiting trans athletes from female sports.
Several states are facing legal challenges for bans on so-called gender-affirming care for minors. Southern Baptists narrowly rejected a proposal today. It's to enshrine a ban on churches with women pastors in the denomination's constitution. This after opponents argued it was unnecessary because the denomination already has a way of ousting such churches. The vote received support from 61% of the delegates, but it failed to get the required two-thirds supermajority. The action reversed a preliminary vote last year in favor of the official ban. But it still leaves the Southern Baptist Convention with its official doctrinal statement, saying the office of pastor is limited to men. Even the opponents of the ban said they favored that doctrinal statement, but didn't think it was necessary to reinforce it in the Constitution. Opponents noted that the SBC can already oust churches that assert women can serve as pastors, as it did last year and again Tuesday night. And that'll do it for this American Family News Update. Be sure and check out AFN.net for much more news from a Christian perspective. I'm Bronson Woodruff.